You said that Cleveland's got a higher crime rate than Cincinnati. Last time I checked, Cincinnati might be higher in homicides, possibly, but definitely not crime overall. I'm pretty sure you guys are in the top 10 of the most dangerous cities in America. Now, I tried doing a little research on that, and the numbers were bouncing around, but you guys were always ahead of Cincinnati on that. The only thing I ever found that said we were higher on was possibly homicides. It's people downtown and some other surrounding neighborhoods. They like killing each other. I think more robberies and rapes and shit have happen up in Cleveland. But whatever. You guys have a basketball team. You mentioned that. A shitty one. You know. LeBron James left you. I heard you were a pretty big LeBron James fan, 216. He left you. Not just the city and all the other Cavs fans, but he left you too. Because he didn't want anything to do with you. And I know you're getting pissed by me saying this, because I know you were a huge LeBron James fan. But he left you. Because he wanted to win. A connection that I can kind of feel is, Carson Palmer left. But he didn't leave me. He didn't want anything to do with Mike Brown. It wasn't about the money. It was about the wins. LeBron James left for wins too. But, at least he could get away. Carson can't. He's still technically on our roster. But anyway, you're so high on you guys having a basketball team. You do know that Cincinnati used to have an NBA team, right? Oh, okay, you didn't. Yeah, we used to have an NBA team. They were called the Royals. Oscar Robertson, I think, was from UC. He played for them. Can't think of the other big names. Yeah. We used to have a team back in the day. I forget what years they were here. But, Cincinnati isn't a basketball team. Isn't a basketball town. I don't think Cleveland is either. You guys can probably just get rid of the Cavaliers too. I'm sure there's other states that are, willing to have a basketball team. I'm sure I've heard Kentucky is really trying to get a basketball team. They've got UK and Louisville down there, and college basketball is big in Kentucky. But I think if you give one of the big cities down there a team, I don't know where they'd put it. I'd say they probably have to put it in Louisville. I don't know what city's bigger and who could hold a team, but I'd say put it down there. Move the Cavs to Kentucky. The Royals are still around, by the way. They're the Sacramento Kings. Look that up. They bounced from I think New York to Cincinnati to Kansas City to... No, I'm not thinking baseball. Basketball team, Kansas City Royals. I think it was like Kansas City, Omaha, Kings, and now they're in Sacramento. Let's move on. Anyway, you said that we have a shitty baseball team. We made the playoffs last year. Did you? Okay. You guys won the Battle of Ohio this year. I forget how many games you beat us by. We have a shitty baseball team. No. You guys have the second longest drought of championships in 62. Going on 63 years. And that's behind the Cubs, who were at 100 and God knows what. Joe, the Ravens fan, if you're watching this, your fucking Cubs suck, dude. Anyway, you guys have 2 championships. We have 5. 2, 5. I don't even know how many World Series you guys have been to. I know we've been to 9, but regardless. And with the Indians, your only claim to fame is these 2 movies right here, starring Charlie Sheen, who is a fan of what team in real life? You don't know? Okay. Charlie Sheen's a Cincinnati Reds fan. Look that up. He might have played Cleveland Indian in the movies, but he is a Reds fan. And you guys, you were having a decent year, starting off behind a bunch of ex-Reds players. You probably didn't know that. You just cared that you were winning because you're a fair weather bandwagon fan. But since then, the wheels have fallen off, and you ain't gonna make the playoffs this year. We're not either. So let's just let it be. The Indians are not better than the Reds. You guys have a lake. We have a river. At least the fucker hasn't caught on fire like yours has. I don't know what caused that, but yeah. A lot of people when they think of Cleveland, they think of that. The fucking thing caught fire. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You guys have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Your point? I mean, they had to give you guys something to attract tourists up there because your fucking sports team sure as hell ain't doing it. I think we were a candidate to, I looked up, to get the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but, you guys really petitioned for it. You, civic leaders pledged something like $65 million in public money to fund that shit. And maybe, for some things that's chump change, but, you give you or me $65 million, that's a lot of money. No wonder you fuckers are broke. You can't pay for shit. Also, I think I recall a few years ago that the Sex Pistols were going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. And they sent a letter to your little museum, and they refused to come to the induction. They called it a piss stain. They didn't want nothing to do with it. Their reasoning? Because it's in Cleveland, they just don't like the Hall of Fame? I don't know. Let's just say it's because it's in Cleveland. You mentioned that you guys have a casino. Well, I know you don't really look into our news down here. We're in the process of building one. And casinos drive up crime rates. If you didn't know that, casinos bring a lot of crime. And I'm not just talking about that shit that you see in movies such as, what's that movie with The Rock? Walking Tall. You saw all that corruption that fucking town got. It's not just that. It's a known fact. It's a lot of bullshit behind casinos. I don't want that fucker here. But they're going to build it anyway. Face it, 216. Deep in your heart, this doesn't really feel like your team, does it? The team you want, with the great defensive tradition and wonderful front office stability, the team that's now Pittsburgh's true arch rival, that team's in Baltimore now. There's no hope of getting it back. The team you should have, the team you feel you truly deserve, and you know it, the Super Bowl title should be yours. Stabby Ray Lewis should be yours. Joe Fucko should be yours. You don't deserve this Cleveland stepmom franchise. Bizarro bunch of clowns birthed into the world by fucking Carmen policy. It's been run into the ground by everyone who's taken the wheel since then. It's got to be one of the oddest situations in sports, especially for you fans, don't you think? It's like you have your team, but you don't really have them. And you probably all know, exactly what I mean by that. The NFL let you keep the colors, but they didn't let you keep the team's soul. You're fucking clones. Forget the clowns and all that shit. I'm gonna start calling you guys the Cleveland Clones. Because you're not the fucking Browns. The Browns are in Baltimore now. You guys are just fucking pathetic. The Cleveland Clones. And that's probably the cruelest part of Art Modell's legacy in Cleveland, is what he did to you guys. But then again, it's probably also one of the funniest. And in my opinion, it is. You guys let them leave. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot you could do about it. But all you had to do was, give him the money he wanted, kind of like, we did Mike Brown, because, could have been the Baltimore Bengals. Baltimore fans, you could have the franchise that I'm staring at now. But you got the Browns. And, in the mid to late 90s, they were doing pretty good. They had Belichick, and, then he left. Which, by the way, how many years was he there? And how many winning seasons did he have? And then he went to, did he go straight to New England after that? I don't know. Maybe 216, hit me back with that. Let's move on to the reason why you don't have a job. And I know you don't have a job. I can tell you don't have a job by the way you act in your fucking videos. But, let's get into it, because it's connected to the team that you act like you love so much. The Browns are owned by Randy Lerner. Who did he inherit the team from? His father, Al Lerner. How did Al make the fortune that he had? You don't know? Let's try a little company called MBNA. I think it was a bank. He was the chairman of it. Maybe you knew that, maybe you didn't. Anyway, MBNA should ring a bell. Of course it does. They were responsible for the proliferation of student-issued credit cards in the last 20 years. MBNA issued pre-approved cards to millions of students across the country who charged shitloads of money to them and couldn't pay the tab. That's the debt that got gobbled up by the banks, packaged with subprime mortgage loans, slapped with a gold star rating from fuckheads at the SEC, insured by AIG, and sold to banks the world over. What do you think that did? Triggered an economic crisis. And it'll soon have us killing each other and scavenging, each other's bones for, bits of, flesh. Which you're used to. I know you like gnawing on bones and nasty shit up there, because you think you're a dog. Another thing a lot of people don't know is that MBNA was responsible for about 85% of all the fucking mail advertising that we get in our emails, that we've been receiving for several years now. You didn't know that. The next time you open up your credit card bill, only to realize you're still paying interest on a Razor scooter you bought back in 99, 2000, 2001, back whenever the hell they were popular. I had one. Just remember that. And while you dumbasses are ruining the economy, a local Cincinnati-based company is trying to pick it up. Maybe you've heard of them. Procter & Gamble. No, you probably haven't. You know why you probably haven't heard of them? Because the shit they make doesn't come packaged in aluminum cans that you used to purchasing, because that's all your poor ass can afford. But if you can't afford some of their fine products, just remember that it was made in Cincy. That your house is full of products from a city that you think is so much shittier than yours. I want you to remember that, 216. Now let's go through a list of some of these fine products. I'll pull up a list now from their website. Alright, now that I've got this list pulled up of some of the fine products made here around Cincinnati, I want you guys to go around your houses. That goes for all 31 other fan bases, anybody that wants to bash, Cincinnati. And let me know if you got any of this shit in your house, because, it is made here. This is a local company that makes this shit. Probably more stuff than you guys realize. But anyway, let's get into it. 3D White, Always, Anasoy, I guess that's how you pronounce that, Aussie, Braun, Kamei, or whatever the fuck, Christina Aguilera's perfumes, Clairol Professional, CoverGirl, Crest, Crest Complete, Crest Pro Health, DDF, Dental Professions, Dolce & Gabbana, Dunhill Fragrances, Escada Fragrances, Fake Eye, Fixodent, Fusion, Ghost, Gillette, Gucci Fragrances, Hugo Boss Fragrances, Head & Shoulders, Herbal Essence, Ivory, Lacoste Fragrances, Mach 3, Naomi Campbell, Natural Instincts, Nice and Easy, Neoxin, some of the shit I can't pronounce, but anyway, fuck it, it's made here. I've seen the shit in stores. You guys have too. Olay, Old Spice, Oral-B. Brush your fucking teeth, dude. I already mentioned Crest. Brush your teeth, 216. Get some of that Oral-B. That's some good shit.